When you think of great Canadian Olympians, and he's not talked about much in the modern era because with the track and field success we're having, it's kind of an afterthought. But in the what I call the lean years for the Canadian men's track and field team, he was the king, probably the best athlete in Canada for a 4 year period in the mid 1930s. Phil Edwards was so good, he was compared to the best in Europe for many, many years, and his many medals at the Olympic Games over 3 championships are outstanding. 5 bronzes, but he was in the hunt in every one of his events. Now, Philip Aaron Edwards, born in Georgetown, British Guiana, who he represented at the 34 British Empire Games, was a Canadian Guyanese track and field athlete. He competed in middle distance events. The man of bronze was Canada's most decorated Olympian for many years, again with 5. He was the first ever winner of the Lou Marsh Trophy as Canada's top athlete. He also went to serve as a captain in the Canadian Army and as a highly regarded physician and expert of tropical diseases. Now, born in Georgetown to a family of 13, his father was a magistrate and the family was part of the black elite in the colony. Edwards' father was one of 18 children and was originally from Barbados. Less is known of his mother, but it's thought she may originally have been from Trinidad and Tobago. So, in all 3 of those countries, there's a athletic prowess running through his blood. In a 1928 New York Daily News article, it was stated that Edwards' paternal grandmother was East Indian, as the maternal grandfather was Scottish, and that fellow Olympian Jack London was a classmate of his at Queen's College in Georgetown. Growing up in what Edwards called a country district, he practiced sprinting by racing an angry cow, according to the article. Good work if you can find it. Now, by the age of 16, he dominated track events at his school. After graduating, he left British Guiana and moved to the States, enrolled at New York University in 1925, where his elder brother, King Edward, was already a great student athlete. Edward's parents and several of his siblings also emigrated to New York, where he founded a law and real estate firm in Harlem. Under the guidance of NYU coach Emil Von Ellen, Edwards steadily improved as a runner, particularly in the 880-yard races or more. In 27, he narrowly missed winning the U.S. national title in the 808 yards event. Then in 29, 2 years later, he won the same race. Now, while Edwards' performances at NYU clearly established him as an Olympic-caliber athlete, he was not eligible to compete for the States as he was not an American citizen. However, as a British subject, he was eligible to compete for another country within the empire. In 27, he was invited by Melville Marks Bobby Robinson, manager of the Canadian Olympic track and field team, to compete for Canada in the 28 Summer Olympics, where Edwards won a bronze medal as part of the Canada's 4x400 meter relay squad. Now, following Amsterdam, he left New York University to attend McGill as a medical student, where he also competed with the university track team. Edwards also continued his association with Bobby Robinson there, competing for British Guiana in the first ever British Empire Games, which were created largely due to Robinson's efforts, held in Hamilton, Ontario in 1930. He finished 5th in the 880 yards event, as well as in the 1 mile competition. In the 440 yards contest, he was eliminated in the heats. He would go on to compete once more for British Guiana in the 34 British Empire Games in London, where he became the first black man to be awarded a gold medal in what are now the Commonwealth Games by winning the 880 yards race. Now, at McGill, Edwards captained the university team from 31 to 36, leading them to 6 consecutive titles. At the international level, Edwards went on to compete in the 32 Summer Olympics in LA and the infamous 36 Summer Olympics in Berlin, where he was one of a number of black athletes, including American runner Jesse Owens, to compete before the Hitler regime and win medals. He got bronze in 32 in the 800, 1500 meters and 4x400 meter relay event, and in 36 it was in the 800. On the way back from 36 games, Edwards was refused lodgings in the London hotel at which the team was booked on account of his race. The full team canceled to stay at a hotel result, preferring to accompany him elsewhere. Now, while serving as a resident house surgeon at the General Hospital in Barbados, Edwards was approached by British Guiana officials with a proposal to run for the colony at the 38 British Empire Games. Edwards was either not interested or could not take the necessary time off. However, in 39, an untrained and semi-injured Edwards was persuaded to compete in a British Guiana Olympiad and ended up 5th in the 880 yards. Now, his appearance at the event in British Guiana may have also given rise to a report in the Indianapolis Recorder, a black American newspaper, that the runner, prominent in medical circles now, is training in British Guyana with an eye towards the 40 Finland Games in Helsinki. The 40 Olympics were soon cancelled due to the outbreak of World War II. Now in 1957, Edwards and James Worrell were involved in developing Canada's first international sport effort, which assisted young athletes in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, the 5 bronze medals gave Edwards the nickname Man of Bronze and made him Canada's most prolific Olympic medal winner. He would be joined in 2002 by Marc Gagnon, and later Francois-Louis Tremblay, and eventually surpassed by Sidney Clausen and Clara Hughes. Edwards was among the first black athletes to earn an Olympic medal, and along with Hamilton runner Ray Lewis, Toronto's Sam Richardson, and Vancouver's Barbara Howard, one of only a handful of black athletes to represent Canada in the 20s and 30s. He was named the inaugural Lou Marsh Trophy winner in 36 as Canada's top athlete. A very, very smooth runner, ladies and gentlemen. And there was indication that there was published reports that Pavel Nurmi said he was basically so good, he didn't know how good he was. Now, inducted to Canadian Sports Hall of Fame and the McGill University Sports Hall of Fame in 1997, he was also put in the Quebec Sports Hall of Fame in 2005. An annual award of his name, the Phil A. Edwards Memorial Trophy, has been presented to Canada's outstanding track athlete annually since 1972. He was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity at NYU. Now, Edwards became the first black person to graduate from McGill University Medical School in 1936, immediately before competing in the 36 Olympic Games and being named Canada's top athlete. He then accepted a 3-year position at the General Hospital of Barbados as a resident house surgeon. Interrupting his medical career to serve with the Canadian Army, he rose to the rank of captain during World War II before returning to Montreal. He earned a graduate medical diploma in 1945 and became a specialist in tropical diseases, joining the staff of Montreal's Royal Victoria Hospital and participating in a number of international medical missions. In 1960, Dr. Edwards was a member of the Canadian Red Cross team of 4 doctors and 6 nurses working in the Congo. Edwards' tenure at the Royal Victoria coincided with the infamous psychiatrist Ewen Cameron. Outside his tropical medicine work, Edwards was instrumental in rescuing at least one patient whose physical illness had been misdiagnosed and mistreated by Cameron as a psychiatric matter. That's a whole different ballgame altogether because there's still lawsuits pending, allegedly, from Cameron's efforts. Now, at the Amsterdam Olympics, Edwards met his first wife, Edith Margaret Otto Schaff, a native of the former German territory of Alsace-Lorraine and a resident of Weehawken in New Jersey. The couple was married on October 29 at the Episcopal Church of the Crucifixion in New York City. The marriage appears to have broken up by the early 40s. Now, Dr. Edwards was just a few days shy of his 64th birthday when he died of heart trouble in 71. He is survived by his widow, Mrs. Diane Edwards, and 3 daughters, Pamela, Dale, and Gwendolyn. He is now interred in the Mount Royal Cemetery in Montreal. Now, according to the Canadian Encyclopedia, it's a very interesting article that they had published, because there hasn't been a pure book on Canadians at the Olympics. Now, the idea about Edwards again, he was very, very, like I said, very, very smooth in all factors. Now, after the 28 games, a very interesting point. Again, he returned in NYU. Now, in 29, he did travel between the States and Canada, competing in track meets in both countries. In August of that year, the Globe and Mail reported that he starred an athletic competition held in Ottawa. The Central Canada exhibition came to a close yesterday with the holding of a mammoth sports program featured by the appearance of Canada's great half miler, Phil Edwards. The member of last year's Canadian Olympic team, running in the colours of the Hamilton Olympic Club, was a stellar performer in a program which was studded with keen competition and brilliant performances by the best of Ontario's schoolboy athletes. The Dusky Flyer had no strong competition, but he gave an impressive and pleasing display to capture both the 880-yard senior run and the 1-mile run. Now, the term Dusky, it was expanded later on, called the Dusky Night of the Cinder Pass. At the time, the term Dusky meant dark. It was commonly used to refer to people with darker complexions, and particularly those of African ancestry. And of course, his marriage became front page news. Now, at the 32 games, This was the big race. He set out at a blistering pace and led the race after 400 meters. However, at the final turn, he was caught by teammate Alex Wilson and British runner Tom Hampson, both of whom broke the world record. Hampson won the race with Wilson second, while Edwards hung on to take third. Now, not too often that the 1,500 meters champion is the champion of 800. You look at Walter Raymond, 76, it was 400 and 800. Now, the bronze in the 1,500 came as he bet such favorites as American Glenn Cunningham and New Zealand runner John Jack Edward Lovelock. Now, the third bronze came as part of the relay team, along with Wilson, James Ball, and Raymond Lewis, the first Canadian-born black man to win a medal. So we had strong participants of color at the event. Now, the event in Berlin is quite remarkable. He almost won bronze in the 1,500, but finished fifth. Now, this according to the success of black athletes such as Owen and Edwards were cheered by Canadian-American reporters, but prompted German propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels to remark, "White people should be ashamed of themselves." Now, the Canadian aspect of him has been well documented. Again, he was Canada's most decorated Olympian for about 7 years. Now, before the 32 games in LA, a number of Canadian athletes, George Orton, Robert Kerr, Percy Williams, Fanny Rosenthal, and Ethel Smith, had each won a total of 2 Olympic medals. When Edwards took 3 bronze medals in the 32 games alone, he entered the record books. His career total of 5 again would not be met until Marc Gagnon won his 5th speed skating medal in 2002. Now, following his death in 1971, the Globe and Mail remarked that his bronze medal in the 800-meter run in his 5th place in the 1,500 in Berlin not only added to Canada's totals, but added Dr. Edwards to the ranks of black athletes from many countries who shot holes in Hitler's pure Aryan track army on his home ground. Now, racial discrimination was and would remain a problem in Canada. During this period of his glory career and his work as a doctor, black Canadians were effectively segregated in many public places, as were Jewish Canadians. They faced widespread social, professional, and economic discrimination, and Chinese people were also banned from immigrating to the country. However, Edwards was much loved and admired by his teammates and the public. Now, he became a popular figure in our country. Again, he became a hero to people of all ages, and he was, again, a big hero to me growing up because I was reading about him, and it was just tremendous. He also won the Lionel Conacher Award in 1936, and he is part of the NYU Athletics Hall of Fame in 1971 and the Athletics Canada Hall of Fame class of 2013. So a beautiful, beautiful career in track and field. You look at the track stars of the modern era. The idea about Edwards, ladies and gentlemen, there is some tape of his career. He's a smooth cat, ladies and gentlemen. He was a great runner and a tactical runner too, because just like Paavo Nurmi, he was looking for his best ways to get to the front and stay there. And probably, again, the greatest Canadian athlete of the 1930s overall. And let me tell you something, a tremendous legacy we all celebrate. So if you like what we're doing here with our track and field vintage podcast on Canadian, American, and worldwide athletes, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share.